Welcome to Vermont Today. I'm Terry Jeroloman, and my guest for this segment of the show is Marrisa Caldwell. This month we're doing something a little different. We're having a special show for the town meeting day election on March 3rd, and I urge everyone to vote. Marrisa is running for City Council in Ward 3. She's a progressive candidate. Marrisa, I think the viewers would like to know something about your background. Can you tell us about where you grew up and went to school?
Yeah, thanks, Terry, for having me here. I really appreciate the time and appreciate the opportunity to talk to voters. So I grew up in rural Vermont in a little town called Fairleigh, and there's about 900 people there. I grew up in a town where the class sizes were about 12 kids. Went to the public school there in the town and public high school, and mostly have lived in Vermont my life. I lived for just a little while outside of Denver, but I really wasn't happy there. It was too dry for me, and so I came back here to Vermont and moved to Burlington. I've lived here in Burlington for the last 5 or 6 years, and in Ward 3 for 4. I have 3 kids, and they all go to school here in Burlington in the public schools. And I found, I feel like Burlington is a really great place to live, and I feel like it's home, and it's a place where you get to be both a Vermonter and you get to have a social scene that's exciting, and there's a lot of people here and lots of stuff going on. So I think it's a great place to be.
I believe you got a degree in psychology. Is that from UVM?
No, actually, I went to Vermont College, and I got my degree in psychology. However, I also studied healthcare policy and social movements while I was doing that degree. One of the nice things about the Vermont College curriculum is that you do get a chance to study things that are really important to you, as well as the sort of focus of your degree. And so I did get a chance to study healthcare policy there, and I've taken a class, a master's level healthcare policy class at UVM also.
And you now work for the medical school at UVM, don't you?
That's correct. I work at the medical school in the Office of Primary Care, and we do loan repayment programs for nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners, dentists. Basically, it's to ensure that the healthcare infrastructure stays strong. And so we also do things like helping kids know about the healthcare careers that are available to them, so they can know as a middle schooler what it would be like to be a dentist, or how much money you make if you become a phlebotomist. And we go and talk to students all over the state about their options as a healthcare provider. And that's really important because our healthcare infrastructure really depends on people. And right now in this country, there's a national shortage of primary care physicians and nurse practitioners and nurses. So the work that we do is to try to maintain that infrastructure.
And you've been on the school board here in Burlington for a number of years too, haven't you?
Yeah. I was first elected in 2005, I think, or maybe it was 2004, I'm sorry, to the school board, and first from Ward 5, and it must have been 2004. And I was on the school board for 1 year from Ward 5, and had to make a move because of family circumstances, and moved to the Old North End, and was elected to the school board from there. So I had continuity in my term and was able to continue doing the good work that I feel like we started with. We worked to get livable wages for school district employees. That was really important to me. And I worked with lots of people in the community to make that happen. It was a 3-year process, but in the end, we have done, I think, what's right for the community and what's right for the workers and the people in Burlington. I was also on the school board in Ward 3 when Barnes was threatened with closure, and we kept the school open and kept it a school that can be a neighborhood center and a walkable school for the kids in the neighborhood.
And now you will hopefully be moving to the City Council in March. What do you expect to be the most important issues facing the city during the next 2 years of your term?
Yeah, I think you have to say the financial crisis that's happening in this country is probably going to be affecting almost everything that we do at the city level. And so that's, I think, part of why I I'm in a good position to run for the City Council and to serve Ward 3 on the City Council. I have experience negotiating contracts. I have experience with memorandums of understanding, and also looking at the details of a budget and figuring out where the money is and where it comes from and how it's getting spent, and making sure that it's done in an efficient manner. And I will bring that experience to the City Council so that we get started immediately with my feet on the ground. And I think that's really important right now. So obviously there are long-term issues like affordable housing that we must continue to keep on the front burner. We have a strong legacy of affordable housing and the land trust housing here in Burlington, and I will definitely continue to work on that legacy. I think we've got to deal with energy issues here. We need to focus on energy efficiency. We need to focus on new forms of energy that are renewable and sustainable, that don't rely on oil and petroleum-based products to get us where we need to go, and to heat our homes and to heat our water and that kind of thing.
We've read much in the papers about the stimulus package that Obama is passing in Washington. But in spite of the stimulus package, which is expected from Washington, Governor Douglas has proposed cutting important programs in the state budget. Will these cuts affect Burlington? And do you see any way to reduce the city budget with cuts or cost savings?
Well, first of all, I do think that Governor Douglas is practicing downward spiral economics, and I don't believe in that sort of that way of doing things. I think that cutting state employee jobs, cutting services right now is the worst thing you could possibly do. I think the money that's coming from the economic stimulus needs to get focused on keeping people in their jobs, keeping people providing the services that we need, that Vermonters need. You can't cut unemployment benefits, which has been something that Governor Douglas has talked about, when more and more people are unemployed. That's a tragedy, and it's not smart. And I don't know why he does that, but I think that people need to respond to him and tell him that we're not going to accept cuts to the services that are essential to people's lives. I think there probably are places that we can look at in the city budget. I know that Bob Kiss, as our mayor for the last 3 years, has been an excellent steward of our budget, coming in with level funding, but keeping our essential services. That's the kind of leadership that we need, and that's the support I will give to Bob, and the critical eye I will bring to city government is in making sure that we're doing things as efficiently as we possibly can. I think things like Mayor Kiss's effort to put our to competitively bid the city's health and workers' compensation and liability insurance, which saved $1 million. That's a really smart way to go about using the city's finances. I would support things like that, looking for the efficiencies that can be gained.
You're running in Ward 3. At the NPA meeting in Ward 3 about 3 months ago, there was a suggestion that the Microsoft software on the city computers could be replaced by free open source software, and that this would be a cost saving for the taxpayers. Mm-hmm. Would you consider looking into that when you're on the city council?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, as a school board member, I haven't been on the infrastructure and technology committee, but my partner does software development and also network engineering for the state and for email programs. It's a little bit beyond me, but he does stuff that makes you get your email. And so over the course of the last few years, we've talked a lot about open source software and how it can be more secure, and also how it's less expensive, and it makes more sense to go that way from a community standpoint. And I have asked the school board to look at those issues, and that's something that I would definitely be willing to look into. I think it's a great idea.
From a socialist perspective, these open source programs are financed by countries like South Africa and Brazil, and it's totally free. It's a great opportunity to save tax money, I think.
Yeah, and I think that there are software programs that are even just developed here in Burlington. For instance, my partner has a software program called Random Password Generator, and that's free, and I think it's open source. And it's so that people can make secure passwords for their computer. So it's not just in Brazil or someplace else. It's something that people in this community are developing, and that's exciting. I think it's one of the ways that we make Burlington vibrant is by people contributing the pieces that they know how to contribute. And you know, maybe we don't get our voting software locally up, but maybe we do. And I think that you know, this is a great way to stimulate people's brains and keep the creative economy going here.